That's not what the Chiefs have done. That's not really what they do. And I think we have evidence that a coach like Jim Harbaugh is going to find some kind of way to work around these things. I don't think he's going to be able to work around them to beat the Chiefs, but I think what we've seen over and over again is that the Chiefs find a way to make the games exciting. I don't think it'd be nice around 6 o'clock if you could hardly pay attention to the game, but I don't think that'll probably be the case.
Yeah, I think the old AFC West dogfight sounds realistically. The good news is, go ahead.
Danny often has, this is almost a weekly thing, and you've actually done it so many times that you've begun to notice the trend yourself, and that you tweet, time for the Chiefs to maybe punch the lights out. Oh, maybe next time. Do you expect something you expect one of those again this coming Sunday, where it's 4 or 5 point
Are
lead?
any of us going to be surprised if
No.
the Chiefs roll? No, I'm not going to be surprised if they roll them. But it seems like a fool's errand to predict that.
Yeah, it does.
They have the capability to go out and just kick their ass. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Well, we say that, but they haven't done it in so long. Are we just kidding ourselves?
I know.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to. It makes us all look kind of like fools. Maybe that's their intent. Hey, let's make all these idiots pick us by 2 touchdowns, and then we'll show them.
They're the opposite of a college coach who wants to cover for the alumni.
Yeah.
They want to not cover.
They want us to
annoy
stop
the media.
They want us to stop acting like it's easy. Understand this is hard. We're going to keep them around.
This is the national football. This is football. Football's important. Football's difficult.
Well, the other
not
thing,
a walk in the park.
They moved a couple of their best wide receivers. Their 2 best wide receivers. You okay? You gonna be all right? You gotta leave the building.
Is that your life alert?
Yeah. I've fallen. Just make sure you're okay, Danny.
I'll throw her under the bus. You can blame my wife for that.
Okay.
Coffee's ready.
Okay. All right. Good times. Good times. J.K. Dobbins has been kind of their big find. I mean, we know he was a talented back with Baltimore, but he's been hurt for several years. But he's running well. The problem, though, is from a Charger standpoint, if that's the whole game plan, the Chiefs have been really, really good at stopping the running back. And like I said, they've given up some of their best receivers. This on paper seems too easy, right? Like,
yes, it does. But I will say that I think the Chiefs have stopped the run really effectively because they have sold out to do it. I think that's kind of their defensive game plan early. See if we can, really gang up on the run, because evidence is that offensive coordinators in the National Football League are just, it's in their DNA to quit running the football. And so I think that's part of Steve Spagnuolo's strategy, is that he'll put a lot of guys in the box early on because, this team comes out and, they've got Derrick Henry, or they've got, this player, and they've got that player. They've got Dobbins, who's been running the ball well. Let's stuff that at the risk of, and then early in the game, what we've seen happen is that the tight ends are going wild. And I think it's because the Chiefs are dedicating themselves to stop the run.
go ahead.
I think they're leaving space because they're moving safeties up. If they're single covering talented tight ends, and so I think that's been the biggest weakness so far, and I think it is because they like to stuff the run early.
And we saw them last week for the first time in their 3 games play a team with a stout defensive front. And J.K. Dobbins went from going from 10 for 135 and 17 for 131 to going for 15 for 44.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh stuffed it. So I would expect the Chiefs to be able to probably do something close to that. Maybe not 15 for 44, but that's what they've done the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's been with their MO. We're talking
and also with a compromised quarterback and all the injuries they have at tackle and everything, they're probably likely to at least try some stuff it down your throat football, and Jim Harbaugh's DNA anyway. So I think they're going to give it a go, but I doubt it's going to have great success.
We're talking to Danny Klingsdale, little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Joe Spiker and his team, Kansas City's best, whether it's your home or your business. Let Easton Roofing give you a free inspection and a free estimate on any work that might need to be done. Remember, Easton Roofing is partnered with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and now a portion of every job Easton Roofing does. Goes to big brothers, big sisters, locally owned and operated. Kansas City's best is Easton Roofing. We'll come back. We'll get into the Royals. We'll talk about the college teams next with Danny Clinkscale. It's Danny Unleashed here in the program.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing here. It's football season in Kansas City, and all of us at Easton Roofing cannot wait to watch Patty Icicles take us to our third straight Super Bowl championship. There's been a lot of storm damage this year. We're here before the storm, and we will be here well after, leaving a legacy of quality work handled by quality people. Not everybody got a new roof from their insurance company. If that's you, give us a call. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
All right, the good sense. End of the hour answer. George Brett hit 13 home runs at Oakland Coliseum, most ever by a Royal. Who's second on that list?
Ooh.
Number is 9.
Number is 9. Frank White?
Nope.
Danny, you want to take a shot?
Oh, boy. Because there's so many short-term Royals who were power hitters. You'd probably have to go to the Coliseum a few times to get it. I don't know if I really have a good one.
I'm going to try another one. Jermaine Dye?
Nope.
No. Just thought maybe he was hot there, and that's half the reason why they went and moved for him. Carlos Beltran?
Nope.
Amos Otis?
Nope.
Give me a decade.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s.
Danny Tartabull?
Danny
the Bull.
Tartabull.
Danny Tartabull.
9.
Number 4.
He only played 5 years here, and he had 9 home runs.
Pretty good.
Number
people go back, and if you're we know who he was, but the next generation down, if you hear the name Danny Tartabull, just go back and look at his numbers, 87 to 91 for the Royals, and go, yeah.
He got a big contract to go to the Yankees, and he was underappreciated in his day. His on-base percentage, he was a better player than people realized. He was much maligned, and isn't he the only Royal with multiple 30 home run seasons? Well, before Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, I think so. John Mayberry might have.
Jermaine Dye might have too.
Man, he could rake it. He just crushed that right center field waterfall. He put more balls in that drink than any right-handed hitter who's ever lived.
Yeah, he was tremendous. I was there the day he hit 3 home runs in Kauffman Stadium, and I think all of them were to the opposite field. That was just his power stroke.
I also like he rolled the sleeve up just one turn.
One turn to see the guns. There was a gun show going on there. Hell yeah, I love that.
Stylish dude.
Oh, my God, I always wanted Danny Tartabull's biceps. It was
Since I'm in the Boston area, I'll say that he was definitely better than Jose Tartabull.
His dad, yeah.
Yeah, he was better. And he, may not have been better with him with the finances, though.
No.
People don't know that. He signed a $25 million deal with the Yankees and immediately began building a $30 million house. I don't know if you can do the math, folks, but that's a problem. That is a problem when it comes to the finances. I remember the big thing was he had a train that would go through the house like Silver Spoons. Remember Silver Spoons? Mm-hmm. The kid had a train. Yeah. He was, come through the house. Danny Tartabull was building a little toy train for the kids to ride that came through the house and around the grounds. I believe the house was never finished because of a lack of finances.
It sounds economically feasible.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Well done. But he could play baseball. He could hit a baseball. All right, Danny Clinkscale's with us. A little Danny Unleashed. Royals. Magic number, Danny, is 1. Thanks to those feisty, ballsy Marlins. You give them 4 extra innings. They're going to get it done against the Minnesota Twins. Curtis and I and another buddy were sitting there, texting back and forth about that game. What does it take to scratch a run across? Shame on the Minnesota Twins. They've done it to themselves. They don't want to play in the playoffs. If you can't, best the Marlins in extra innings, for God's sake.
Part of what it takes is having first and second, nobody out, and bunting into a double play where he races the lead.
When you bunted to the wrong side.
Yes.
He bunted down. They had first and second, and he bunted to the first base side. Where's head and ass right there? What are you doing?
There's a clip out there of the Twins TV crew going, just make sure you don't bunt it in the air. First pitch, bunt in the air. Oh, my God, I can't believe they did that.
Well, and I was watching MLB Network was doing look-ins, and they're like Harold Reynolds and I forget the old A's pitcher and the studio host. They were like, what's he bunting to first base for? There's runners on first and second. And Harold Reynolds been like, Twins are going to do it. Carlos Santana's going to walk it off here. Like every time Harold Reynolds had an opportunity to predict that the Twins were going to end it, he did it. He kept doing it. Finally he goes, all right, I'm out. They don't deserve to win this game. I'm out. I'm done with them right here.
Well, they're 12-35 in their last, for whatever. Because I know 12-25.
Yeah, I was going to say that 25. Yeah,
12-25 because they were 11-22, and so they've dropped 2 out of 3 since then. So I mean that's just long-term awful baseball. So credit to the Royals. I'm glad that they won these games so that they could have just back-assed their way into the playoffs, but they didn't. They won their games and put them on the doorstep, and I hope they win on the day they clinch because that would be a much better narrative, and it would look better and make them feel better going into the playoffs.
And although they didn't necessarily need to have that game last night to win, they did control their own destiny, as the grammatically incorrect saying goes. But now they can win it tonight, and they can set their pitching rotation by not throwing their 2 best starters on Saturday and Sunday.
It is giant for them to either win or the Twins lose, so that they can have Lugo, Reagans ready to rock 1-2 in the series. I agree. I don't think they advance in the wild card if they don't clinch it tonight. Do you agree with that, Danny?
Yeah, I would say that because what we've seen is that they're pretty likely not to score a lot of runs, unfortunately, because they'll be going against good pitching. And what we've seen is that, especially recently, you figured maybe that wasn't going to be the case. Lugo and Reagans, maybe a couple of weeks ago, you're starting to think they were showing signs of wear. Instead, they've stepped up and been outstanding. And, they've kept Royals in games when they haven't scored at all. And so it seems like whatever they're catching a second wind, or if they're motivated by the time of year it is. So they look like they're up and rearing to go. But, if they have to pitch Brady Singer, who hasn't been good for quite a long time, and Michael Walker looked a little shaky in his start yesterday, although I do have faith in him. But, yes, if they aren't able to line up Lugo and Reagans, it seems like it'll be a very difficult assignment.
Yeah, I think it's vital. I'm going to say it's close to a must-win, right? Because I think, I don't mind Michael Walker coming back in the third game, needing to get it done. But I think you really need both of those guys going 1-2 to get one out of the 2 because of the reason you said they're not going to score runs. Like they both could pitch really well, and I expect the Royals to win one of those.
The only alternative could have been if the Twins played like an early game, because the Tigers and White Sox play at noon tomorrow. So if they did play early game, then you don't win tomorrow.
Call off the Dogs.
Twins lose on Saturday. You can say, all right, scratch our starter. But no, they play at the same time.
Yeah. So, but in game, if they would start going down the toilet quickly, in game you can be like, all right, call off the Dogs, get them out of there. But you can't call off Seth Lugo, right? Like he'd have to.
Or Luca Brasi.
Yes, he sleeps with the fishes now, but I don't know. I think last night was key. They got it done. Now, how many do they get against Atlanta? An Atlanta team that we were hoping would be eliminated, but of course the Hurricane has called off the Dogs, and they won't play until Monday. 2 games with the Mets, so we know that they're still going to be in it. That's the frustration there. That you got to go against an Atlanta team that's got everything to play for.
That's true. And and
with Brady Singer, who has been the problem child of late.
He has been a problem of late, but evidence is that the Twins are not going to go out and sweep their final series of the season. So, but you're right. It's much better if the job gets done tonight, and the odds are half decent that the Twins are going to take care of that. That's what they've done. And maybe you can do it yourself also.
Yeah. I would, well, maybe it'd be nice. I want to give the Royals, I don't think, first of all, I don't think they're advancing past the wild card, just because I don't think this team is built for playoff baseball. The one reason why I'm a little more confident now, the bullpen. It's been lights out. Where the hell did this come from? This has been the problem all year, and now it's nails. We know what's wrong with the offense. It's Vinny Pasquantino's missing. But,
But a .90 ERA over the last 7 games, and as we noted yesterday,
Carlos Hernandez is the only guy who's given up runs in that stretch.
Yeah, the only 3 runs that were allowed by the Royals bullpen in the last week were one Carlos Hernandez appearance, which means of the other 24 times